Hi, we have with us today Wajah Uddin Siddiqui, who's currently studying for an executive MBA at the University of Warwick. And he has a very interesting background because he pivoted from a mechanical engineering degree and mechanical engineering work into the e-commerce industry. And he's also had a stint as a founder of his own startup, and we'll talk about that as well. What we're going to focus today in this podcast is really about Wahaj's journey from being a mechanical engineer to a consultant and an e-commerce specialist, and also not only how he did that, but the lessons and the learnings along the way. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to the StEPS2Success podcast.
Thank you so much, Saima. It's a pleasure. And thank you so much for this platform. I hope people make the most out of this.
I'm very sure they will. So you started as a mechanical engineer, right? When you were like a 16, 17-year-old, what made you decide that you wanted to do mechanical engineering?
Automobile. As simple as that, because you keep looking at the advertisements of Maruti, Alto, right, of Mitsubishi Pajero as a car, and back in India. So definitely I want to ride that, I want to drive that car basically, right? And then there's automobile engineering, right? And then I applied for the engineering entrance exam. I had zero interest in computers, so I made sure that I have to go for mechanical because it will lead me to all the other segments. Could be aeronautical or could be automobile in that space. And at that time, aeronautical didn't have a specific field of it. Like automobile didn't have a specific field of it. So go to mechanical, and from mechanical you go.
And you graduated in 2011.
Yes. So I joined in 2007 basically.
Okay.
So imagine 4 years further back, right? So we're almost 17 years back, and that too in the place. So then I realized that, okay, do mechanical and try to be a part of that zone because you'll be able to handle the engines. And the best thing at TCS, my project was automobile.
Right. And TCS is Tata Consultancy Services.
Yes.
And that was your first job after your mechanical
engineering. I got a
engineering.
campus placement from a college.
And that was a consultancy. So a lot of the times we feel people who want to go into consultancy don't really think of being an engineer to go into consultancy, but you were an engineer and you went into consultancy. So tell me about that. What exactly were you doing as an engineer in a consultancy company? What was your mandate? What was your role?
So the work was very simple that we got a project of Chrysler and Dodge, like the Detroit project, right? And we have to look after the designing of the engine through the software basically. So it was all about understanding from your project manager who is sitting in the US, Detroit, to understand from the client perspective, what is the requirement of the engine. That goes down the funnel to associates like us. And then we work on designing the engine basically through the software. And then it goes again for checkups that, okay, this engine looks good. There are certain misalignments happening in the attachment, the entire structure, right? So that happened almost for a year and a half.
So these big automobile industries, companies actually have consultants who do a lot of the engineering work for them. So in essence, it gets outsourced.
Exactly. So basically, use for the right word. So the point is, these consultancies companies, be it TCS or in our part of the world, be it Infosys or Accenture, they all are IT outsourcing companies. So basically, they take projects and then they give it to associates to basically work on those projects and then give it back to the project manager. He would go to the respective client's location and he would speak to the company and then sell the project basically. So that's the entire chain.
That's interesting to know because, as a guidance counselor, when I get students who want to go into consulting, they're not necessarily looking at engineering as a route to get into consulting. They're normally looking at degrees like management or accounting and finance or maybe, business analytics. Because the concept is that you would not really be doing the technical work as a consultant, whereas obviously you would be. So earlier you had told me that after Tata Consulting, you worked in the oil and gas industry as well for a few years,
5 years,
5 years or so. So that was obviously very hardcore mechanical engineering as well. What made you pivot out of engineering into e-commerce?
There is no comfort zone basically. You could never say today is a day that, I literally have hit my targets. There is always something going on to improve you basically. Something keeps challenging you in the e-commerce world. There is not even a day goes by where you don't challenge yourself.
But surely there was a lot of challenge in the oil and gas industry or in the automobile industry as well.
See, the point is, there is a challenge for sure, but the point is, when you are too much engrossed in that environment, right, you know what the challenges would be. Because the point is that I know if I am today working on a gearbox, right, and I have to, after 2 months, give it to Saima as a client, I know what questions you would come up. Because the point is, you won't invent the questions. You will not invent the challenges.
So there was nothing new for you anymore. You'd been there, done that.
Person. So basically, talking every day to thousands of clients, for example, and then same set of questions are coming. Then you're answering them. You're working on the gearbox. You're working on the coupling. You're working on the engine. And I mean, that's all the life is. And then, so I got a chance to work with my engineering team in France as well. Then I went to Italy, and then I went to Germany. So even people who I worked in all these respective countries, they also were hardcore engineers like me, and they had the same thing. Like, the life is just going on, dude. Like,
did you face criticism from, say, family and friends, or surprise when you decided to leave the oil and gas industry in the Middle East?
100%.
Because that's like the prize, right? 100 wants to go into ONG.
100%. I mean, not just, I would say, just entering into the e-commerce, but also when I left TCS and came into the oil and gas marine industry, and that time also I faced a lot of frictions. But that's a part of things.
Yeah.
I mean, you sign up for that.
Yes, because I mean, we see a lot of people wanting to come into this region to work in oil and gas.
Yeah.
And you were actually in this region working in oil and gas, and you decided to exit, which was at probably what was sort of a peak in your career.
Yeah, exactly.
At that time. Yeah. And why e-commerce specifically? That was a conscious decision.
Yes,
right?
100%.
It didn't just happen.
No.
So tell me about that.
So basically what happened that my few of my friends, basically, they came from Bangalore Flipkart, which is basically a company founded by ex-Amazonians. So Kareem had a hackathon in Bangalore, and they ended up joining Kareem here in Dubai. And at that time, I had zero idea about this company and all that. And then I thought, okay, what is e-commerce? And then they told me about how these functions work, right? How the entire e-commerce, food delivery, logistics and all that. Then I was very amazed what tech actually does in the world.
This was in 2017.
2017. So imagine that now I am sitting right now, somebody can come and talk me of food, right? Now you talk about it's a necessity. But almost like 7-8 years back, you think that there is a possibility, there is a potential, right? So that potential has now turned into a need. So that is what excited me for the e-commerce, and especially coming from the engineering background. So as I mentioned to you, like I used to talk to a lot to the machines, right? And now talking to the people, and then you can make the machines work very easily, Saima. But when you have to work with people, it's not that easy. Human beings are complex. So then you understand that it's not that easy, that there is an input button, there is an output button, and the human being will work like a machine. So that e-commerce is like business, results, targets, then never in the comfort zone, and more importantly, how you can make life easier. There's always a competition going on.
It's interesting that you say that machines are easy and human beings are complex. A lot of people who are not engineers will actually think otherwise. And you're right, humans are complex. You can't really predict, right?
No.
What they will do, how they will behave.
Yeah.
What did you do to get into Kareem? Because obviously you had no background in e-commerce.
Yeah.
What was it about perhaps your profile that you think would have attracted Kareem to you or made you a viable candidate for them?
First thing would be persistence. Like it's a cliche basically, but the reality is that you keep knocking at the door. I mean, you understand that, okay, if Kareem is my target, I need to understand how I can add as a value. And then in that, you understand, okay, Kareem has a segment of business development, marketing, operations, customer support, right? And then how you think you would be able to simplify their life, right? In their mission, basically. Then what people usually do not do is basically, I ended up making a presentation, basically. So I wanted to take a approach that crowd does not take. Because the point is, I am reaching out to you from a mechanical engineering background, right? And they have people who come from management. They have people who come from basically as engineering in the coding industry. So why would they select Wahaj? Let's say somebody is a mechanical engineer, because there is no fit. Like in tech world, we talk about Saima word, PMF, product market fit. So Wahaj as a product is not able to fit in that market. So that does not coincide at all. So presentations, then understanding, okay, if I have to reach out to the BDM role, make the presentation accordingly. Then if I have to reach to the marketing role, make the presentation according to that. If I have to reach to the operations director, the decision maker, make the presentation accordingly.
How many rejections did you receive before you got that call for an interview?
Almost 70, 75.
70, 75 rejections.
I kept getting emails. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. I kept the more I say this, the less it is, to be honest with you, because the point is, when you know what you want in life, right? People will come literally and they will try to scum you down. And it's all cliche you hear in the stories, you read in the books. But the reality is 70, 75 emails of rejections literally did not bother me, because the point is, I knew I'll get you, dude, for sure. I'll make the presentation. Today might not be, but after 3 months or after 5 months. But I will, for sure, I'll get your attention at the end of the day.
Why were you so confident?
Because of my skills. I knew that I am making a presentation that people don't do. I knew that I am reaching out to you, that usually 98% of the times people will not take that rule, basically.
And were you doing this while you were employed?
Yeah. So basically,
it was a lot of time.
Yeah. So basically, I used to come around 7:30 to my home and then go for the exercise. And after Isha prayer at 10:30, I used to sit on my laptop and make the presentations. And then after Fajr prayer next morning, starts shooting it. Then you have to understand what is the key time when people read emails. So because imagine, for example, if I am a mechanical engineer, I usually end up opening my email inbox at 9:30. So therefore, be smart and understand, send the email at 10:30. Send the email at 11. Do not send it on Monday. Send it on Tuesday. Because people, when they join the Monday, they have a backlog of the weekend work. So send it on Tuesday. Then if by chance you get somebody's reply, hi, I am out of office. This is my phone number, right? Cool, just wait and put a reminder to your calendar. Give a call to that person after 2 weeks. So there's...
So it's actually being strategic in how you're approaching, not just mindlessly shooting out emails or spamming people.
No. So you have to literally understand that, okay, so I never sent the emails to any associates, with due respect. I was to any employee who basically is in the ladder of becoming a decision maker. So you have to understand who is the authority, decision-making authority, right? And then send the email, a customized email to them. Keep the email very short, very precise. You don't have to write the entire film story. There is no script for that, to be honest, Saima. Just write 2 sentences that, hi, this is Wahaj and this is my presentation. I share this to add value to your company. Don't talk about how good is your company, because they know.
Yeah.
Right? So do not tell them that, you know what, dude, your company is damn good. They don't want to hear that. Tell them that I can add value through these strategies, period.
And that you put in a PowerPoint attached.
Until late, it has been my...
When you eventually got the job at Careem, what were you doing?
I joined operations team as a supply lead. So I was handling the entire fleet and everything in the UAE, so Dubai and Abu Dhabi both. And then straight away, like imagine I was initially doing, let's say, 1,000 gearboxes. Now I'm dealing with 5,000, 6,000 people, right? So now it's like in customer experience team in operations. Now I have to understand how much efforts go back in the background to ensure the ride is smooth or the food deliveries is smooth, right? So you understand that how to make sure your entire customer experience is going smooth as per the high rated standards, right? So imagine you have to literally work on the data. You have to work on the data analytical tools. That was completely new to me. So coming into Google Analytics, then doing the Google AdWords certification, then understanding through Tableau as a software, how to read the data.
So you had a lot of new learnings
100%.
That you did on the job. And that included certifications as well.
Certification as well.
But you didn't have to show those certifications to get the job.
No. Because the reality is, you do the certificates, take what is the learning out of that and put it in your presentation. Because when the person who would go through your presentation, they would see, okay, you understand now what Google Analytics is, how Google AdWords work, and how you can add value.
So you did those certifications before you were while you were applying.
Yes.
Right. And so obviously all of this was new learning, but you had your mechanical engineering background. What learnings were you able to transfer from mechanical engineering into your e-commerce role?
When I was doing the engineering work in my previous companies, I still used to talk to clients, used to understand their problem basically, right? And then understanding how to position my gearbox, how to position my coupling. So now, with due respect, I used to now understand how to position my people, right?
So that problem-solving ability was what had been established by your engineering background, and you were able to then pivot that into sort of operations.
Correct.
You also mentioned that networking helped you a lot in getting to where you are.
100%. Like I would say, like it's again, everybody says that, your network is your net worth, Saima, and it is a reality. Trust me. The reason is that I am sitting till here. It is only because of networking. I mean, you understand who you want to network with. Go to LinkedIn profile, understand what exactly, like if you are interested in business development roles, right? Look for the companies that you are targeting, and then go for the people who are decision makers on those LinkedIn profiles in that organization. Reach out to them, but just simply say, hi, this is Wahaj, and be very active. When you are active yourself on those LinkedIn profiles, right, you end up getting attention of people, dude. People end up visiting your profile. They understand that you are not doing it to show off.
When you say be active, what's the quality of interaction that you should be giving on LinkedIn? Just likes and saying congratulations, best of luck, or something?
No. You literally have to be very confident to voice your opinion. Like, for example, if I think something is happening and I want to write a post about it, go and write it. Don't worry about how many likes am I getting, and don't be insecure. You know what, dude, she wrote and she got 10 likes and I am just getting 1 like. This is not making sense. It will make sense. The only thing is, don't just give up as of now. So understand, according to your, let's say you are interested in marketing, try reading the marketing post blogs on LinkedIn, like that, comment on that, put your suggestion on that. Then people will come and they might throw you down, push you down, but don't be disheartened. Everybody has the freedom to voice their opinion, so they also are doing as much as you.
We see a lot of posts on LinkedIn now. Suddenly everybody is an expert on LinkedIn. There are a lot of experts. I may be wrong, but sometimes I feel that a lot of it is possibly AI generated. A lot of content that people are posting as their own content is, of course, I mean, yes, of course, a lot of people get inspiration from, ideas from ChatGPT or whatever. Yes. But then you see all these posts which are very similar, and they are obviously AI generated. How do you distinguish to make sure that what you're putting out on LinkedIn is actually something that people will value, people will read? Because there's how do you stand out from the crowd?
Very good question. I'll tell you, because I have faced it myself, right? The reality is, there is, when you spend a lot of time in e-commerce, let's say, or when dealing with people or networking, right? Somewhere down the line, Saima, you understand that at the end of the day, there has to be a human touch to it. So when I write some kind of a language which is very robotic, so if you go to ChatGPT or if you go to, let's say, Google Gemini, and you ask them the questions about, right, the answers they give you, they are very, very robotic. And if you are a sound reader, you can literally, how people say that you can read between the lines.
Yeah.
Right? And when you can read between the lines, you understand that, dude, this is not the actual thought coming out of his or her mind. It is more of a fabricated one, right? So you go put your post on LinkedIn, but do not forget to add a human touch to it.
Because sometimes they're almost too perfect.
Exactly. And it cannot be like that. And moreover, when you get backlash, you should defend it. If you are writing in a completely robotic language and you get a backlash and you are not able to defend that, that means your reasoning is not there. You just had put the post for the sake of. So put the post, and if somebody does come and, let's say, put something that that is against what you have put it forward to, then defend it.
Yeah, so believe in what you're writing.
Exactly.
And coming back to your career, Wahaj.
Yeah.
So you were at Kareem for about 2 years.
Yes.
And then what happened? You became entrepreneurial.
So then the best thing happened in my life was that one of my friend, he approached for a food delivery startup. And because we were at Kareem, so we were working with the ride hailing, we were working with the food delivery, right? And there was so many verticals at Kareem. So I had a belief that, okay, you know what, let's get into this segment of entrepreneurship, and let's become a founder, co-founder, and let's have our own company. And maybe
Who were you inspired by?
Magnus Mudassir, the CEO, the co-founder and founder of Kareem. The reason being very simple, Saima, because it's a very open company, like open culture company, right? I can reach out to Mudassir whenever I want. I can reach out to Magnus whenever I want, and they literally have an open door policy. So you see that kind of a culture. People do not talk about sitting on the desk or sitting on the chair. They sit everywhere. They get the work done, period. So I wanted to be a part of that zone, right? And then I entered into the food delivery. And the first 3 months were crazy because we had a lot of great vigor, passion, whatever you talk about, and you were able to take clients one by one in the phone delivery.
This was in your own startup.
Exactly. And what we focused, we did not go after where Kareem Food was going. We did not go where Uber Eats was going, where Deliveroo, Talabat, Noor, and Carriage, Zomato, you name a company, and they were like 9-10 companies, Saima in 2019 around, they were literally out on the road, right? And us, we didn't have that much cash. It was us, our money basically, right? So we started talking to vendors who would give their riders to us. Then we used to go to many restaurants in the business way, in downtown, in all the malls to give us a chance to allow our riders to do a delivery for them. Then we used to go to many offices in the media city to understand how their product can help the driver tracking system. Then you understand how these things will work. And moreover, you understood how to work on the ground. So then I literally used to sit in the scorching heat, alhamdulillah, with my teammate on the bike. And I used to go in the boulevard to deliver a food. And I used to go to Emirates Towers. And then I understood what pain these drivers, they come from, because there's a separate elevator for drivers, right? Then you have to go and stand over there. Then
You actually live that life.
100%. And it creates a lot, it gives you a so realistic experience. The life is not just in the AC, it is actually out on the road as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So what happened to your startup?
Okay, so basically it's like 7-8 months gone by and we were now falling short of cash, because the point is, at the end of the day, you might not be doing what Kareem Food does or Uber Eats does. The reality is, you still are competing with them, right? And because you might be having a cash crunch situation, they don't have it.
Yeah.
So they will come very easily to overpower you. And that is what the companies in the e-commerce world do. Because the point is that everybody wants a major portion of the cake, right? And the best piece of the cake. So the point is that if I am reaching out to small or medium-sized restaurants, there is a volume in that. And Kareem, or let's say Uber Eats or Deliveroo at that matter, or Talabat, they all knew that, okay, we are missing a chunk on the medium-sized restaurants, enterprises, right? So let's go after that. So you're offering subsidized rate.
So what exactly then happened to your startup?
So we then realized that we cannot just scale up.
Did you get seed money? Did you get funding?
No.
You
We did
didn't
not
have any investment. Okay,
Only
yeah.
purely our own savings, and that you could say. And so we understood that we could not scale up, and we had to pay a lot to the vendors as well, because the payment cycle is like, if I have to pay 1 month or like 10 days, it kept stretching.
Yeah.
And then we realized that, dude, this is not scalable for our part, because we don't have the funding. We have exhausted our resources. Therefore, I think it's best to understand what went wrong, and this is start.
Did you close the company?
Yes.
Did you sell it?
No. We closed the company, and we understood that it was too immature on my part to jump into becoming a founder unless you have a knowledge of understanding how to manage the expenses. You have the literal long-term plan. There is something that you say 5 years down the line, this is what I will do. But to be honest, this is still not a long-term plan, because the point is, you need to have a 10-year strategy to understand in between this 5 year, what if something goes wrong? Because you have to understand from what all areas the challenges might come, which will bog you down.
And you said, alhamdulillah, this was the best thing that happened to you.
Yeah.
Why is that?
So whatever that 9-10 months failure has taught me, whatever it has, today I'm literally, I owe the success to that, because like you understand, like there is one thing that you, like, this is very easy to preach, right? But it is very difficult to practice. So this failure told me that it is very easy to understand how businesses work, but then it is very difficult to work on the ground. Then you understand that, okay, people will literally judge you, because if you are becoming a rider, but if you go all the way to becoming a founder to a particular restaurant to have a meeting, they will take you with it all in a different way altogether. So,
And from that, you joined Laundry Heap.
no, then came tier mobility. Electric scooter market. This was not at all a concept in the UAE. So after in 2019 end, RTA announced that they will give the license to electric scooters to operate. Then came the company Berlin-based unicorn, Tier Mobility.
And you joined them.
Yeah. So I had that expansion, the same strategy, presentations, understanding what is the market, what you can add value. And the same thing is like in Kareem, you were trying to understand how to put your riders, or in electric scooter, you understand how to put electric scooters.
Yeah, and now of course you had the experience of the market, and so the product was different.
Yeah, exactly. But the skeleton is always the same, Saima.
So tell me about Laundry Heap, where you're working currently. that's also kind of, that's a Warwick alumnus.
Yeah.
And you said that the fundings also come from a Warwick alumnus, and now you're a Warwick alumnus. So that's a very, very much a strong Warwick product. So tell me about that. Is that something in the UAE? Or is that something that expanded from India into the UAE?
Okay, so basically this company, Laundry Heap, is a London-based company, and it started its operations in 2015 around, and it only had London basically as its operating city. And after COVID, because of this segment of understanding what is the essential business vertical and what is a non-essential business vertical, laundry comes in that essential business. So Dayan and Mayur, the co-founder and founders, they understood that Dubai is the next market that they should tap into. And then I came across them with the same strategy. And then as of now, Laundry Heap is operating in 15 countries and on 26 cities globally.
And what's your role in?
I am the regional manager handling the entire expansion in the GCC. So now Laundry Heap is in the UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain and Saudi as well. And we are testing out the new markets as well. And the concept is very simple. You open the app, select the category, the guy comes at your door, picks up your dirties, washes and comes back and delivers it. So there are plethora of companies, Saima, who do that. But the reality is Laundry Heap stands apart in doing it because it offers a 24-hour segment. So you have to understand your product in the e-commerce world. What is the application of the product? What exactly is the USP of your product? And how you can make it sustainable.
Are you working with laundries? So is this an aggregator for laundries around the region?
So it's not basically the platform of an aggregator. It is more of basically that we work with big commercial plants.
Okay.
That they basically follow our SOPs, right?
Right.
Simple. We tell them what to do. We give them our software. We tell them to work through our data, through our product and our application, so that we can track them, how they are performing.
So they have to have a minimum sort of standards that are sent by you. You have to meet those standards. What made you enroll onto the Warwick MBA?
Understanding a lot of Warwick values, to be honest, from Mayur, who is the co-founder at Laundry Heap. Like, again, the same thing, like I think that is something which is very common in every co-founder or founder of a successful company, Saima, and that is opening door policy. And moreover, like, he is always open to new ideas, challenges, and the kind of vibe that you give, right? The kind of values, like in terms of why do you think that makes sense, Wahaj, if you are coming with an idea, right? How do you think you can better it, for example? So when I used to talk to him, he used to tell me that he has had these experiences from his Warwick time when he did his master's basically, right? And I thought that now after 12 years of my life, in my employment segment, I want to grow to the C-level executive position, right? Because I'm still sitting in that scale of decision influencer, but not a decision maker, right? So I know that I want to now be in that ladder. And for that, you need to come up with a university like Warwick, for example, who can give you those kind of wings, basically, right? That kind of an environment and structure. I happen to meet so many people at Warwick. People have come from defense background, so nice, so open to talk to. People are coming from lectureship, for example. Somebody has come from healthcare. So imagine that you are all of a sudden sitting with people who are in the room and they are smarter than you, Saima. So then you understand that how less you know in life, no matter in front of yourself. And if you look in the mirror, you say, you know what, dude, I made something. But trust me, you haven't done it. Because you are still not able to come out of that comfort zone of yours and you're not having a reality check. Warwick gave me that. I was sitting in that position with people who are like 45, 50 years old, mashallah, and they are talking to you with such kind of a...
And they're your peers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the way they are talking to you, the way they bring the energy into that room, that is completely...
Yeah, when I talk to students, I always tell them, look, whatever you're going to learn from your lecturers or your professors is only a fraction of what university teaches you. What you're really learning is from your peers.
Exactly.
Especially when you're on a postgraduate degree like the MBA at Warwick. What about the Warwick campus? You were just there.
So funny thing happened that I have few of my friends and families staying in London. So I often go to meet them basically. And then happened the case that we thought of going to Warwick University, Cranfield University, and we went to Cambridge and Oxford, and all the universities we went, right? And then Warwick campus I went and I really liked it. As per me, if I want to do an EMBA right now, I want to understand if this is my specialization I want to get into, which university offers me in terms of the tuition fees, the scholarships, in terms of the work and education balance. And Warwick literally ticked all the boxes for me. So for me, it was my go-to thing. And I'm so thankful to the entire team at Warwick, Saima, because the way they every time were answerable to my questions, so damn responsive that if I literally have to if I send them the email in the night, literally if they say that in 48 hours, Wahaj, we'll get back to you, and literally they do.
Yeah, the support is amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the new application that they came up with, Campus Connect, that was phenomenal. Like for anyone who is about to join Warwick campus, there is the application Campus Connect, and it will help you connect before you come to the campus with all your peers. So imagine by the time entered into Warwick campus, I knew who the MBA coordinator was, who the MBA's my peer size was, and half of the time it was very easy to interact with them because that was the icebreaker.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Wajah. Such an exciting, such an interesting journey, and so inspiring as well.
Thank you so much.
I think lots of learnings for people who are looking to move from one career to another. You know, when I think my generation, my parents' generation, we always used to think, you know, whatever you study is whatever you become. But that's obviously no longer the case. And you're a perfect example of that. And also, you know, the lessons that you've learned not only from your successes but from your failures are amazing. And what I really take from this is not to get disheartened. I mean, 75 around 100 applications, and you had mentioned earlier that you were very intentional in where you were applying.
Yes.
And you said that Kareem didn't choose you; you chose Kareem.
Yeah,
so that's something that I really
that's
like.
a fact. That's a fact.
And I think that's something, you know, it's that focus, and when you do that, then it does manifest.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Wahaj. It was a pleasure meeting you. I wish we had more time. We would have carried on.
Thank you so
But we
much.
look forward to maybe speaking to you again.
And it was
Thank you.
next time.
Take care.